Hi, this is James. I am the unofficial mayor of Cowboy Country, and I have some very big news. Um, when I first started this channel, I uh, did several videos of stadiums in the area because I wanted to compare them, basically compare and contrast these stadiums, TCU's, Ammon Carter, Baylor's, McLean's new McLean Stadium, Kyle Field at A&M, Dale K. Royal at Texas, stadium down at Houston, which is sponsored by a credit union here in Texas, TDECU Stadium. I only remember the acronym because I saw a brochure at a Buc-ee's advertising and trying to encourage people to switch their account to join their bank or credit union. Anyway, I did those stadiums because I wanted people to realize just how good we have it at Boone Pickens Stadium. Boone Pickens Stadium is, without a doubt, one of the best facilities in all of college football. And I could sit here and rattle off. I've actually seen in person somewhere in the neighborhood of somewhere around 22 to 24. I don't remember the exact number. I've seen several on the East Coast, Wake Forest, North Carolina State, South Carolina. I grew up in upstate New York, so the Carrier Dome. I don't care what they call it now. It'll always be the Carrier Dome in my heart. South Carolina's, as I went to the Army Chaplain School in 2008, KU, Kansas, Iowa State, Nebraska, even on a trip I once made to go see my parents when they still lived in upstate New York, I stopped in Columbus just to see the Horseshoe there in Columbus, the Ohio State University. I've seen OU, OSU, and, I think the only one in the Big 12 I've not seen is West Virginia in person. So I was talking with Robert Allen on his show, and he said, I'll know you've gone big time with your channel if you can afford to go to Utah and see, or specifically Provo, Utah, to see the BYU Cougars LaVell Stadium in person. It got me to thinking. If I went on a trip for just one stadium, that probably wouldn't be a good use of my funds. But if somehow I could get it to where I could get at least two, that would be worth going. And if I could get a game in also, that would be worth it. I can't go anywhere this weekend because I'm on call with my day job. And I can't talk about my day job here because that would be against the rules. But next week, next Friday, I'm going to drive, instead of coming home, because I live in the Killeen area, I'm going to go from Temple down to Austin, get on a plane, and fly to Salt Lake. So yes, next week, I am going to Utah. Because what I can do is fly into Salt Lake, spend the night in Salt Lake, Saturday morning, take a rental car, go to see University of Utah. They're on the road next week, I think. They're either on the road or they got a bye week because there's no home game on the 24th. So I'll do the video for the Utes, Rice-Eccles Stadium, and then drive an hour, go to Provo, and go see. I have tickets for, well, it's on my phone. I have tickets for the BYU versus Wyoming game. Why is this an important game? Because if BYU can beat Oregon next week, and they've got a couple other games during the year that are going to be significant. They're going to be tested against Arkansas, and there's one other one I forgot what it is. But if they can beat Baylor and Oregon and Arkansas in that other game in the same year, they could legitimately, if they finish 12-0, end up in the playoff. So basically, I want to go see this game because BYU could be a legitimate contender for a national championship. Of course, they pretty much are going to have to go undefeated. The other reason is, of course, BYU is joining the Big 12, and that will add to those two videos will add. Now, Utah obviously has not. There's talks of the four corner schools, Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado coming to the Big 12 to make the Big 16. That hasn't been finalized yet. However, BYU it'll be good to see what LaVell Stadium is like in person, and it'll also be good to see what Utah Stadium is like in person, because they're a top 10 team right now. They just upgraded one of their end zones. They just did a remodeling project. So let's see what it's like. Let's compare and contrast those two with Boone Pickens Stadium and see what we got. I saw some good things on Google Maps, and I saw some not so good things. I will tell you this. From a distance, Utah Stadium reminds me a lot of North Carolina State, in the sense that one side looks amazing and the other side is kind of bare bones, so you can tell where they spent their money. All right, week 3 picks. I promised you week 3 picks, and I'm going to deliver. So let's get at it. Of course, I told you already earlier this week, I'm picking OU against Nebraska, but Nebraska will beat the spread. Normally, I don't care about the spread, but this one, I'm going to give you a specific score. OU 27, Nebraska 20. The spread is 11.5. The Sooners are going to win, but they're not going to beat the spread. I do think the Nebraska players are going to step up their game. They're going to play for their interim coach because they really like him. He's well liked in that locker room, and I think they would go through a brick wall for him if he asked them to. So a lot of these other ones are pretty easy picks. Next week, when conference games start, things will get a little bit more difficult. Baylor is going to beat Texas State. I have no doubt about that. West Virginia is going to beat Townsend. I have no doubt about that. By the way, if you haven't seen Golden Blue Dude, he made a video earlier today talking about how the athletic director for West Virginia and the Greg Sankey, who's in charge of the SEC, are on the same committee, some kind of NCAA transformational committee or something. And so there's a connection there, and there's a relationship there. And so he thinks that relationship is going to ultimately lead to the possibility of West Virginia and Oklahoma State going to the SEC. This whole grant of rights thing with the ACC is pretty much, there's no way around it. Unless you want to pay $500 million, every team that's in the ACC right now will be in the ACC until 2036. So if the SEC is wanting to grow and go to 18 teams, the next 2 teams on their list are West Virginia and Oklahoma State, which makes sense because Oklahoma State versus OU, Bedlam last year drew 6.5 million viewers. That's a lot of television viewers. And if I'm the SEC, I want those people watching SEC games. So, anyway, Iowa State's going to beat Ohio. That's not... K-State might have a little bit of a struggle with Tulane, but it's at home. Here's where things get interesting. KU, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Are they for real or not? Because they're going to Houston. Man, if I wasn't on call, I'd be down there. I'm serious. That's going to be electric. Can the Jayhawks pull off the victory? Can they go to 3-0? They got Duke at home, which is a winnable game next week. That would put them at 4-0. Can the Jayhawks do it? And guess what? I'm saying it right here, right now. Yes, I do believe that Kansas can get the victory. I'm picking KU over Houston. Will there be another upset with Arkansas Pine Bluff over Oklahoma State? No. If you saw me on a video saying that Arkansas Pine Bluff was going to beat Oklahoma State, you need to test me for drugs because I must have been smoking pot. Of course, I made the same comment about Texas beating Alabama. They almost pulled it off. So, but anyway, no, there will be no upsets. Hopefully, Gundy and Gangrel will get reps at quarterback in the second half. All right. UTSA is at Texas. I'm picking the Longhorns. They played really well against Alabama, even in the loss. And I have no doubt the Longhorns are going to run all over them. If I'm Texas, I'm just going to give the ball to Bijan Robinson 25 times and let him run over the Roadrunners. All right. The other, what I would consider a competitive game, well, the OU-Nebraska game, I think, is going to be competitive. KU versus Houston is going to be competitive. The last one, Texas Tech at North Carolina State. If you go back and look at my prediction video for the Big 12, I didn't think very highly of Texas Tech. And then I got to know more about their coach. And I got to know more about the players that they've brought in and the excitement that's going on in Lubbock. And if I got time, I'll quickly throw up a picture. They're going to start some construction on their stadium next fall or after the season is over. So that looks pretty good to me. So trust me, this whole upgrading facilities war is not over. Texas Tech is going to do something not good with Bolin finishing off the one end zone. But the question is, can they go to NC State? I've seen the Wolfpack Stadium in person. That's going to be 50,000 people wearing red. Of course, Texas Tech's colors are red and black. So that ought to be interesting. Obviously, the noise, you won't see any flying tortillas. But Texas Tech isn't. When they look up and see a sea of red, they'll actually like that. Either way, I'm telling you right now, some people would call it an upset. I don't call it an upset. NC State is going to be good this year. They're going to make it to a decent bowl game, but they're not beating the Red Raiders. I'm picking Texas Tech. They're going to win this one. So I went 9-3 last week. Anyway, I need to wrap this up. By the way, TCU has a bye. So if you're wondering why I didn't mention the Horned Frogs, I think they do this thing. It's no disrespect. It's just they're not playing this week. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, please hit like and subscribe. Remember, whether you got your degree or not, if you wear orange, you're a member of Cowboy Country, and I love you, and I thank you for your support, and I hope you have a great weekend, and as always, go Pokes!